day, everyone. I am Ira Pamela Armaniebo, your discussant for today, and my topic is all about the ancient Greece. So let's discuss the early civilization in Greece. During the 3rd millennium BC, the island of Crete was home to the most advanced civilization in Europe. Although Minoan Crete was not a Greek, it did have some influence on the first Greek state. The story of ancient Greek civilization begins when a group of Greek-speaking Indo-European people moved into Greece around 1900 BC. The Mycenaeans provided the inspiration for Homer's epic and paved the way for the political and cultural development of Greece in the first millennium BC. So next is the impact of geography. Geography played an important role in the development of Greek civilization. Compared with the land masses of Mesopotamia and Egypt, Greece occupies a small area. It consists of mountainous peninsula and numerous islands that encompass about 50,000 square miles or about 129,500 square kilometers of territory, about the size of the state of Louisiana. The mountains and the sea played special significant roles in the development of Greek history. Mountains. Two peninsulas make up much of the Greek landmass. The Isthmus of Corinth connects the Peloponnese Peninsula to the mainland, and about 80% of Greece is mountainous, and Olympus is the highest peak in the Pindus mountain, which divided the mainland. Much of Greece consists of small plains and river valleys surrounded by high mountain ranges from 8,000 to 10,000 feet or about 2,438 to 3,048 meter high. These mountains isolated Greeks from one another, causing different Greek communities to develop their own way of life. And over a period of time, these communities become fiercely independent. It is probably that the small size of these independent communities encourage people to participate in political affairs. And on the other hand, their rivalry between the communities led to the warfare and devastated Greek society. Seas. The sea also influenced the evolution of Greek society. The Aegean, Mediterranean, and Ionian seas make up the eastern, southern, and western borders of Greece. Its location on a peninsula gives Greece a long sea coast, dotted bays, and inlets that provide many harbors. Although Greece is small, it has an 8,500 miles or about 13,700 kilometer coastline. In fact, no part of the Greek mainland is more than 60 miles or about 100 kilometer for a body of water. Sailed out in the Aegean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Black Sea, making contact with the outside world. Later, they established several colonies that spread Greek civilization throughout the Mediterranean world. Let us now proceed to the Minoans and the Mycenaeans. By 2800 BC, Bronze Age civilization had been established on the island of Crete, called the Minoan civilization. It flourished from 2700 to 1400 BC. The Minoans were not Greek, but they did influence the peoples of the Greek mainland. The Minoan civilization. Arthur Evans, the English archaeologist who first discovered the civilization, named it after Minos, the legendary king of Crete, because some of its structure were similar to the labyrinth that King Minos was said to have built. At the beginning of the 20th century, Evans discovered an enormous palace complex on Crete at Knossos. The remains of this complex revealed a rich culture, with Knossos as the center of the far-ranging sea empire based on the trade. The ship of the Minoans took them to Egypt as well as the southern Greece. The centers of Minoan civilization on Crete suffered a sudden and catastrophic collapse around 1400 BC. Some historians believe that a tidal wave triggered by a powerful volcanic eruption on the island of Terra was responsible for the devastation. Most historians, however, believe the destruction was the result of invasion by mainland Greek known as the Mycenaean. Let's proceed now to the Mycenae, the first Greek state. The term Mycenaean comes from the Mycenae, a fortified site on the Greek mainland that was first discovered by the German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann. A Mycenae was one center in the Mycenaean Greek civilization that flourished between 1600 BC and 1100 BC. The Mycenaean Greeks were part of the Indo-European family of people who spread into Europe and Asia. One of this group entered Greece around 1900 BC and gradually gained control of the Greek mainland. Mycenaean civilization, which reached its high point between 1400 BC and 1200 BC, was made up of powerful monarchies. Mycenaean centers were the tombs where members of the royal families were buried, known as the Taulas tombs. They were built into hillside. An entryway led into a circular tomb chamber constructed of cut stone block in a dome shape that resembled a beehive. The most famous of all their supposed military adventures is recounted in the poetry of Homer. According to Homer, Mycenaean Greeks, led by Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, sacked the city of Troy on the northwestern coast of Asia Minor around 1250 BC. And by the late 13th century BC, Mycenaean Greece was showing signs of serious troubles. Mycenaean state fought one another and major earthquake caused widespread damage. In the 12th century BC, new waves of Greek-speaking invaders moved into Greece from north by 1100 BC. Mycenaean civilization had collapsed. From approximately 1100 BC to 750 BC, the Dark Age. Because few records of what happened exist, not until 850 BC did farming revive at the same time the basis for a new Greece was forming. Changes of the Dark Age. During the Dark Age, many Greeks left the mainland and sailed across the Aegean Sea to various islands. Many went to the western shore of Asia Minor, a strip of territory that came to be called Ionia, or Ionian Greece, in modern-day Turkey. Two other major groups of Greeks settled in the established part of Greece, the Aeolian Greeks of northern and central Greece colonized the large island of Lesbos and the territory near the mainland. Dorian established themselves in southwestern Greece, especially in the Peloponnese, as well as on some of the southern Aegean island, including the Crete. And another thing about the Dorian, based on my research, is that they traveled southward to central Greece at the end of the Bronze Age, about 1100 BCE. They began several migrations to the southern Aegean area of Greece. These invaders weren't cultured compared to the four tribes of Ionian Greeks who were living in the Greece at that time. The Dorian could be identified by their strong dialect and their burning desire of war. In fact, their major invention was a sword made of iron and meant for slashing. Their rules plugged the area into a dark age. It took almost 3 centuries for the Greek city-state to emerge from the dominance of the Dorians. In addition to agriculture, there was a revival of some trade and economic activities during the Dark Age. Iron replaced bronze in weaponry, making weapons affordable for more people. Iron farming tools helped reverse the decline in food production. At some point in the 8th century BC, the Greek adopted the Phoenician alphabet to give themselves a new system of writing by reducing all words to combination of 24 letters, both consonant and vowels. The Greek made learning to read and write simpler. The work of Homer, one of the great poets of all time, appeared near the end of the Dark Age. Homer, poet of the Dark Age. An epic poem is a long poem that tells the deeds of a great hero. The Iliad and the Odyssey were the first great epic poem of early Greece. The Iliad and the Odysseys were based on stories that have been passed from generation to generation. Both poems are hundreds of pages long, but not because they tried to preserve an entire account of history as earlier oral poets did. Instead, Homer focuses his imagination on the dramatic event of a few days of the Trojan War. Homer used stories of Trojan War to compose the Iliad and the Odyssey. The war is caused by Paris, a prince of Troy, by kidnapping Helen, the wife of the king of the Greek state of Sparta. Paris outrages all the Greeks under the leadership of the Spartan king's brother, King Agamemnon. The Greeks attack Troy. 10 years later, the Greeks devise a plan to take the city. They trick the Trojans by building a huge hollow wooden horse. The best Mycenaean soldier hide inside the horse while the rest board their ship and pretend to sail away. The joyful Trojan, thinking themselves victorious, bring the gift horse into the city. The night the Greek creeps out of the horse, slaughter the Trojan men, enslave the woman and child, and burn the city to the ground. The Iliad is not so much the story of the war itself, however, as it is the tale of Greek hero Achilles and how anger of Achilles led to disaster. The epics came to be used as basic texts for the education of generation of Greek males. As one ancient Athenian stated, "My father was anxious to see me develop into a good man, and as means to this end, he compelled me to memorize all of Homer." The values Homer taught were courage and honor, a hero strive for excellence, which the Greek called arati. Homer gave the later generation of Greek males a model of heroism and honor. For example, in an exciting description of men marching to war, the Iliad taught students to be proud of their Greek heritage and the action of their heroic ancestors. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.